The Silent Strike. The Nexari homeworld hummed like a jewel in space, its crystalline cities refracting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the Earth diplomatic vessel Olive Branch, admiring the view while reviewing her notes for the upcoming trade negotiations. The Nexari were renowned across known space for their mastery of quantum computing, and Earth hoped to establish a mutually beneficial partnership. Ambassador, Captain Rodriguez's voice crackled through the calm, tension evident in his tone. We're detecting multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace. Hegemony signatures. Sarah's blood ran cold. The Hegemony, a coalition of ancient spacefaring races who viewed younger civilizations as resources to be exploited, had been expanding their influence, but direct military action against a neutral world was unprecedented. Before she could respond, the first strikes hit. Brilliant green beams lanced down from the Hegemony warships, carving through Nexari's atmospheric shields like paper. The crystalline cities that had moments ago sparkled with life now shattered, their fragments raining down like deadly tears. "My God," Sarah whispered, watching helplessly as the massacre unfolded. The Nexari's advanced computing couldn't save them from raw military might. Their distress calls echoed through space, pleas for help in languages both known and unknown. Captain Rodriguez appeared beside her, his face ashen. The Nexari never developed significant military capabilities. They believed in pure scientific pursuit. The Hegemony must have seen them as an easy target. "How many survivors?" Sarah asked, her voice barely steady. "Surface scans show scattered groups in the underground research facilities. Maybe 10,000 out of a population of millions." Rodriguez's fists clenched. "We need to leave. Ambassador, our ship isn't equipped for combat." Sarah turned to him, her diplomatic mask cracking to reveal cold fury underneath. "No, we're not leaving them. Get me a secure channel to Earth Command. The Hegemony just made the biggest mistake in their history." Hours later, in an emergency session of Earth's United Defense Council, Sarah's testimony sparked fierce debate. Admiral Helena Reyes, her silver hair pulled back in a severe bun, addressed the assembly. "The Hegemony believes younger races should know their place," she said, her voice carrying decades of command experience. "They've gotten away with subjugation through economics and politics, but this is different. This is genocide." General Zhang stood, his cybernetic eye glowing faintly. "Our fleet is advanced, but we've never faced the Hegemony in open warfare. Starting this fight could mean the end of humanity." "Not starting this fight already means the end of humanity," Sarah countered, stepping forward. "I watched a peaceful civilization die today. If we do nothing, we're next. The Hegemony needs to learn that humanity isn't just another young race to be conquered or culled." The debate raged on, but in the end, the decision was unanimous. Earth would not stand idle. Within hours, shipyards across the solar system hummed with activity. The newest class of stealth destroyers, previously kept secret, began final weapons integration. Special forces units trained in zero combat were recalled from deep space assignments. Aboard the Olive Branch, Sarah watched the Nexari survivors they'd managed to rescue. Children with skin like living crystal huddled together, their natural bioluminescence dimmed by trauma. One of them, a young female named Lyra, approached her. "Your people risk much by helping us," Lyra said, her voice harmonious even in grief. "The Hegemony is powerful." Sarah knelt down to meet Lyra's iridescent eyes. "Power isn't everything. The Hegemony thinks they understand the galaxy, but they don't understand humanity. We've spent our entire history facing impossible odds, and we're still here." Throughout the next few days, Earth's response took shape. The fleet assembled in secret, using technology reverse-engineered from various encounters with alien civilizations. But humanity's greatest weapon wasn't borrowed tech. It was their unique approach to warfare, born from millennia of conflict and innovation. Admiral Reyes stood on the bridge of the flagship Defiant, watching as ships took formation. Unlike the hegemony's massive dreadnoughts, Earth's vessels were smaller, faster, more adaptable. They carried weapons that seemed primitive at first glance, but harbored deadly surprises. The hegemony expects us to cower. Rise addressed the fleet. They think their ancient technology makes them invincible. But humanity has something they've forgotten: the ability to evolve, to adapt, to look at impossible odds and find a way through. Today, we show them that the age of a civilization doesn't determine its worth. As the fleet prepared to jump, Sarah thought about the Nexeri survivors and countless other species suffering under hegemony rule. Humanity was about to change the galaxy's balance of power, not through overwhelming force, but through the very qualities that had allowed them to survive countless challenges on Earth: determination, innovation, and the unshakable belief that tyranny must be opposed, no matter the cost. The order was given. Across the fleet, hybrid drives powered up, creating artificial wormholes using principles that the hegemony's ancient science had never considered. Humanity's counter-strike was about to begin, and the galaxy would never be the same. Breaking chains. The hegemony outpost on Centauri Prime never saw Earth's fleet coming. Their sensors, designed to detect the standard fusion drives of younger civilizations, were blind to the quantum tunneling technology that humans had developed in secret. The first sign of attack came when EMP charges detonated across their defense grid, temporarily neutralizing their energy shields. Commander Maya Santos watched from the bridge of the stealth destroyer Shadow Step as her strike team's pods launched toward the surface. Remember, she broadcast to her forces, "Minimal casualties. We're here to prove we're different from them." The hegemony's response was predictably arrogant. Their garrison commander, a towering drachnid whose crystalline exoskeleton sparkled with neural augmentations, broadcast on all frequencies: "This is a forbidden zone. Your primitive species has sealed its fate." Maya allowed herself a small smile. "Primitive? Let's see about that." She nodded to her tactical officer. "Show them what Earth's primitives can do." The battle that followed shattered the hegemony's assumptions about warfare. While their forces relied on overwhelming energy weapons and ancient shield technology, Earth's troops deployed countermeasures that seemed to defy physics. Personal deflector fields, reverse-engineered from salvaged alien tech, but improved with human innovation, protected the strike teams. Their weapons, though apparently simple ballistic firearms, fired smart rounds that could change trajectory mid-flight and penetrate energy shields by shifting phase at the point of impact. In orbit, the real surprise revealed itself. The hegemony's reinforcement fleet arrived, expecting to find a handful of primitive warships to destroy. Instead, they encountered vessels that seemed to fade in and out of reality, using quantum uncertainty principles to exist in multiple positions simultaneously. Traditional targeting systems were useless against ships that could probabilistically be in several places at once. Lieutenant Kira Patel, piloting one of Earth's new Schrödinger-class frigates, demonstrated why humans had named these ships after the famous physicist. Her vessel appeared to split into 3 possible positions, confusing enemy targeting systems. "Quantum state locked," she reported. "Firing solutions calculated." The frigate's main weapon wasn't a traditional energy beam or missile. Instead, it fired gravitational singularities, microscopic black holes that existed for mere seconds, but could tear through the strongest shields by distorting space itself. The hegemony ships, for all their advanced technology, had no defense against weapons that attacked the fabric of reality. On the ground, Maya's strike team reached their primary objective, the outpost's quantum database. While the hegemony's forces expected them to be stymied by alien computer systems, they hadn't counted on humanity's secret weapon: the Nexeri survivors who had joined Earth's cause. Lyra, the young Nexeri that Sarah Chen had comforted aboard the Olive Branch, now worked alongside Earth's best computer specialists. Her crystalline fingers danced across holographic interfaces, her species' natural affinity for quantum computing allowing her to bypass security measures that would have taken AI systems years to crack. Their arrogance is their weakness, Lyra observed as she downloaded crucial intelligence. They never considered that their victims might work together, might share knowledge and strengthen each other. The data they uncovered was shocking. The hegemony's attack on the Nexari hadn't been a simple show of force. It was part of a larger plan. They had feared the Nexari's advancing quantum computing technology, seeing it as a threat to their dominion. Other young civilizations were also marked for destruction, their crime being too much progress too quickly. Maya secured the command center, taking the Drachnid commander prisoner. The alien's neural augmentations flickered as it struggled to comprehend its defeat. "Impossible," it growled. "Your species is barely space-capable." "That's your problem," Maya replied, securing its restraints. "You measure civilization by age, not innovation. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our ability to adapt, to take ideas, and make them better, to work together and overcome impossible odds." As Earth's forces secured the outpost, Admiral Reyes received the intelligence gathered from the quantum database. The hegemony's plans were now exposed, but this victory was just the beginning. Other civilizations, hearing of Earth's success, began reaching out in secret. The galaxy's younger races were ready to break their chains, and humanity would lead the way. Lieutenant Patel's voice crackled over the command channel. "Admiral, we're detecting multiple quantum signatures, more hegemony fleets mobilizing across the sector." Ray studied the tactical display, her expression determined. "Good. Let them come. Humanity has spent its entire history fighting against overwhelming odds. It's time to show the galaxy that the future belongs to those who dare to challenge the impossible." The battle for Centauri Prime marked a turning point. The hegemony had lost not just an outpost, but their aura of invincibility. As news spread through hidden channels, other subjugated species began to hope. Humanity had proved that the ancient races could be defeated, not through superior firepower, but through innovation, adaptation, and the unwavering courage to stand against tyranny. Maya looked out at the stars from the captured outpost, knowing that the real war was just beginning. But for the first time, the galaxy's younger civilizations had something the hegemony couldn't comprehend: hope and the knowledge that together they could forge a future free from ancient tyranny. The forgotten weapon. Deep in the ruins of an abandoned Nexari research facility, Dr. Marcus Chen, Earth's leading geoarchaeologist and Sarah Chen's brother, studied ancient markings that predated even the hegemony. His team had followed encrypted coordinates found in the quantum database, leading them to this facility buried beneath crystalline mountains. "These aren't just decorative patterns," he muttered, tracing the spiraling symbols with a scanner. "They're mathematical equations, but they're using a base 12 system we've never encountered before." Dr. Zora Hassan, the team's quantum physicist, looked up from her holographic display. "Marcus, these equations, they're describing something impossible. If I'm reading this correctly, the ancients found a way to manipulate quantum fields on a galactic scale." Before they could discuss further, the facility's ancient systems suddenly hummed to life. Holographic displays flickered in the air, showing star maps and complex calculations. A voice spoke, not in any known language, but somehow understood by all present. A technological feat that even the hegemony hadn't mastered. "Defense Protocol Omega awaits activation," the voice announced. "Identify civilization parameters for authorization." Marcus exchanged glances with Zora. This was beyond anything they'd expected to find. While they worked to understand the system, aboard the Defiant, Admiral Reyes received troubling news. The hegemony had launched a major offensive, systematically destroying any civilization that showed signs of resistance. "They're trying to crush the rebellion before it spreads," Sarah Chen reported, her diplomatic experience helping her understand their strategy. "But they're being methodical, moving from sector to sector. That gives us time, if we can figure out what Marcus has found." In the facility, the research team made a breakthrough. The defense system wasn't just a weapon. It was a vast network that could alter the fundamental forces of physics within targeted regions of space. The ancients had built it as a last resort against an unknown threat, but had vanished before using it. The hegemony doesn't know about this, Marcus realized. They'd never understood the civilizations they conquered. They just assumed their age made them superior. But activating the system proved challenging. The authorization process required proof that a civilization understood not just the science, but the moral implications of such power. It wasn't just about technological advancement. It was about wisdom. Lieutenant Kira Patel, who had joined the research team, made an unexpected connection. "Look at how the system measures civilization parameters," she said, pointing to the data streams. "It's not just counting technological achievements. It's looking for evidence of cooperation, adaptation, and ethical development." The team worked tirelessly, presenting humanity's history to the ancient system. Not just their technological achievements, but their philosophical growth, their ability to learn from mistakes, their willingness to help others even at great cost to themselves. "We're not perfect," Marcus told the system. "Humanity has made terrible mistakes, but we've always strived to learn from them, to be better. And right now, we're fighting not for conquest, but to protect others from oppression." The facility processed this information, its crystals pulsing with energy. Finally, the voice spoke again. "Authorization granted. But be warned, this system requires sacrifice. The civilization that activates it must be willing to bear that burden." The team discovered the sacrifice required. Activating the system would permanently alter space-time in the activated regions. FTL travel would become impossible in those areas, effectively creating barriers that could contain the hegemony's forces. Admiral Rice faced a difficult decision. Using the system would mean cutting off parts of human space, isolating colonies and trade routes. But it would also stop the hegemony's advance and protect countless civilizations. The decision wasn't made by military command alone. Representatives from Earth's colonies and allied species were consulted. The Nexari survivors, led by Lyra, provided crucial insights into the system's quantum mechanics. "We've always believed that advanced civilization meant accumulating power," Lyra observed. "But this system, built by beings far older than the hegemony, measures civilization by its capacity for sacrifice and cooperation." As the hegemony's fleets approached, humanity prepared to make its choice. The defense system waited, its ancient power ready to reshape the galaxy. But first, Earth would try one last time to avoid using such a devastating weapon. Sarah Chen prepared to broadcast a message to the hegemony, offering them a chance to negotiate. "They probably won't listen," she told Admiral Rice. "But offering peace, even knowing it will likely be rejected, is part of who we are. It's why the ancient system chose to trust us." The message was sent, carrying with it humanity's hope for a peaceful resolution, but also their determination to protect the galaxy's younger civilizations, no matter the cost. The next few hours would determine whether the ancient defense system would remain dormant or change the face of the galaxy forever. Unity's price. The great chamber of the Emergency Coalition Council aboard the Earth Station Unity hummed with tension. Representatives from 17 different species gathered around a holographic display of the galaxy, watching as red markers indicated the hegemony's advancing forces. The chamber itself was a testament to humanity's rapid adaptation. Designed to accommodate beings that breathed different atmospheres, existed in various gravity conditions, and perceived reality through different sensory organs. Sarah Chen stood at the center, her diplomatic training tested as never before. "The hegemony has rejected our offer for negotiation," she announced. Their response was to destroy 3 more civilizations in the Carina sector. "Our time for discussion is running out." The representatives erupted in overlapping voices and translated communications. The Nexari delegation, led by Lyra, pulsed with agitated bioluminescence. The Korethi, insectoid beings whose silicon-based technology rivaled Earth's quantum advances, clicked their mandibles in agitation. Even the mysterious void dancers, energy beings who rarely involve themselves in physical matters, swirled with unusual patterns. The ancient defense system is our best chance, Admiral Reyes argued, her hologram projected from the front lines. But its activation will cut off nearly 30% of known space from FTL travel. We need consensus, because every civilization here will be affected. The Korethi speaker rose, its crystalline exoskeleton catching the light. Our hive cities depend on quantum-filtered stellar radiation. The disruption of FTL corridors will force us to abandon our outer colonies. Millions will be displaced. The void dancers cannot maintain our consciousness streams without FTL connectivity, their representative added, their energy form flickering with concern. Our entire species would be forced to consolidate into a smaller region of space. Commander Maya Santos, recently promoted after the Centauri Prime victory, shared tactical data from the front lines. The hegemony is adapting to our quantum warfare techniques. They're developing countermeasures. We estimate 3 weeks before our technological advantage is neutralized. In a secure chamber adjacent to the main council, Dr. Marcus Chen and his research team worked frantically to fully understand the ancient defense system. Zahra Hassan's quantum calculations revealed an additional complication. The system doesn't just block FTL travel, she explained to the gathered leaders. It fundamentally alters the quantum fabric of space-time. Some forms of advanced technology might cease to function entirely within the affected regions. We can't predict exactly what will still work. Lieutenant Kira Patel, who had been analyzing ship deployment patterns, spotted something crucial. Look at the hegemony's fleet movements, she said, highlighting patterns in the holographic display. They're not just attacking randomly. They're systematically cutting off escape routes, herding civilian populations into kill zones. The revelation hit the council hard. The hegemony wasn't just trying to maintain control, they were preparing for genocide on a galactic scale. Any species that had shown the slightest sign of resistance would be eliminated. Sarah Chen faced the council again. We're not just deciding the fate of our own civilizations now. We're deciding the fate of every species the hegemony has marked for destruction, including those who aren't represented here. A new voice joined the discussion, one of the ascended energy beings who had once been organic, their consciousness uploaded into quantum matrices. There is another option. We could evacuate the threatened regions, consolidate our populations, live in the shadows until we find another solution, and abandon those who can't evacuate, Maya countered. Some species can't survive long-term space travel. Others are bound to their planetary environments. We'd be choosing who lives and who dies. The debate raged on, but time was running out. The hegemony's fleets pressed forward, their weapons becoming more devastating with each engagement. They had learned from their early defeats against humanity and were adapting their tactics. In the midst of the chaos, Lyra approached Sarah privately. "Your species is strange," she observed. "You fight so fiercely, yet you agonize over decisions that the hegemony would make without hesitation. Is this weakness or strength?" Sarah watched the council chamber, where representatives of species that had never before cooperated were working together, sharing knowledge, finding solutions. "It's both," she answered. "Our capacity for destruction is matched only by our capacity for compassion. That's what the hegemony never understood about us." Admiral Rice's hologram flickered as another transmission came through. "They've begun the assault on the Korethi colony worlds," she reported grimly. "Civilian casualties are massive." The chamber fell silent. The moment of decision had arrived. The ancient defense system waited, its power ready to reshape the galaxy. But the price of activation would forever change the civilizations they were trying to save. Sarah Chen looked at the faces around her, organic, synthetic, energy-based, all united by the threat they faced. "We're not just fighting for survival," she said. "We're fighting for the right of every species to choose its own path. The hegemony believes that age equals wisdom. That power gives them the right to decide who lives and who dies. We have a chance to prove them wrong, but only if we stand together." The council chamber hummed with translation devices as her words reached every representative. The next few minutes would determine not just the outcome of the war, but the future of galactic civilization itself. Dawn of recognition. The tension aboard Station Unity crystallized into resolution as the Coalition made its choice. They would activate the ancient defense system, but not as the hegemony would expect. Humanity's greatest strength had always been its ability to find a third option when faced with impossible choices. Dr. Marcus Chen and Zara Hassan had discovered something remarkable about the defense system's quantum architecture. "It doesn't have to be all or nothing," Marcus explained to the assembled leaders. "The ancients built in flexibility we didn't see at first. We can create targeted corridors, safe passages through the affected space." Admiral Rice's hologram nodded grimly. "But mapping and maintaining those corridors will require constant adjustment. Someone would need to stay behind in the affected zones, monitoring the quantum fluctuations." "We'll do it," Sarah Chen said, speaking for Earth. "Humanity will bear that burden. We're already adapted to living with limited FTL capability. Our colonies are designed for self-sufficiency." The hegemony's massive fleet appeared at the edge of the Arcturus sector, thousands of ships strong. Their command broadcast carried absolute certainty. "Your resistance ends today. The natural order will be restored." But the Coalition was ready. The plan they had devised was audacious, combining the unique strengths of each species. The Void Dancers would help maintain the quantum corridors. The Korathis silicon-based technology, immune to certain quantum disruptions, would provide safe havens. The Nexaries' computational skills would guide the defense system's precise targeting. Lieutenant Kira Patil led the first wave of human ships, their quantum drives modified to surf the edge of normal space. "Remember," she broadcast to her squadron, "we're not just fighting for ourselves. We're fighting for every species that will ever reach for the stars." The battle began with a feint. Earth's vessels seemed to retreat, drawing the hegemony fleet into position. The ancient races pressed their advantage, believing victory was at hand. Their massive dreadnoughts powered forward, weapons charging. That's when humanity revealed its true strategy. The defense system activated, not in a single massive burst, but in precise, coordinated pulses. Quantum corridors shifted and changed like flowing rivers, trapping segments of the hegemony fleet in pockets of altered spacetime. Commander Maya Santos, coordinating from the Shadow Step, watched as the plan unfolded. "They never understood," she said. "They thought age brought wisdom, but they stopped learning centuries ago." The hegemony ships found themselves divided, their carefully planned formations shattered. In the chaos, the Coalition struck. Earth vessels darted through quantum corridors that shifted and changed according to precise calculations. The Void Dancers disrupted enemy sensors with their energy forms. Korathi ships, their silicon tech unaffected by the spacetime distortions, pressed the advantage. Aboard the hegemony command ship, the High Admiral faced something their civilization hadn't encountered in millennia: defeat. Their attempts to adapt came too late. The younger races had outmaneuvered them, not through superior firepower, but through cooperation and innovation. The battle raged for hours, but the outcome was becoming clear. The hegemony's fleet, once seemingly invincible, was being systematically dismantled. Their ships, trapped in pockets of altered spacetime, could neither advance nor retreat effectively. As the last hegemony dreadnought surrendered, Sarah Chen prepared to address not just the Coalition, but all spacefaring species. The quantum communication network, enhanced by Nexari technology, would carry her words to every corner of known space. "Today marks a new era," she began. "Not because of victory in battle, but because we've proven that the age of a civilization doesn't determine its worth." The hegemony believed that their ancient status gave them the right to judge younger races. They forgot that true wisdom comes not from age, but from the willingness to learn, to adapt, and to work together. The aftermath brought challenges. Managing the quantum corridors required constant effort. Earth's colonies would indeed face isolation, having to develop new ways to maintain connection and commerce. But they had volunteers from every human world, ready to serve as corridor keepers, maintaining the safe passages that would allow other species to travel and trade. The hegemony's leadership faced justice, not through execution or imprisonment, but through service. They would work alongside the younger races, sharing their knowledge while learning the wisdom they have forgotten. Lyra, standing with Sarah on the observation deck of Unity, watched as ships from dozens of species passed through a quantum corridor. "Your people chose the harder path," she observed. "You could have used the defense system to become the new hegemony." Sarah smiled. "That's not who we are. Humanity's strength isn't in domination, but in bringing people together. We've spent our history learning that lesson, sometimes the hard way. Now we can help the galaxy learn it too." The stars shone differently now, their light passing through the quantum corridors that humanity helped maintain. It wasn't the future anyone had expected, but it was one filled with hope. The galaxy had changed, and at its heart was a simple truth, that greatness comes not from age or power, but from the courage to face challenges together, to sacrifice for others, and to never stop learning and growing. Earth's ships continued their patrols, maintaining the quantum corridors that connected the galaxy. They had become not conquerors or victims, but guardians of a new age, proof that humanity's greatest strength was not in weapons or technology, but in their capacity to unite others and face the impossible with unwavering determination.